Hello YouTube, this is the Pokemon Animated Skyfire, and I am bringing you a very special video. This is the top 10 Pokemon of my accord. Some people in the Pokemon Wi-Fi room on Zat.com asked me, what are your top 10 Pokemon? Out of probably 300 to 400 Pokemon I played, I had to drill it down all the way to 10. Well, here we go. I actually have a list. And let's start with number 10. That would be Drapion. And the reason why I like Drapion because Drapion is one of the two Pokemon which is a fool of a Pokemon. Reason? Poison is weak to Psychic. But people use Psychic on Drapion, not knowing it's part Dark. And I like it because even if you use Earthquake or something like that, or any physical move, it's a pretty somewhat okay of a physical wall. It can sponge that without being one-hit KO'd. So Drapion is pretty good to play with. I just like it for the fact that I can Night Slash a Mewtwo and not have to worry about the next thing coming. I've never had a sweep with Drapion, but Drapion's done some good things in a few teams of mine. So Drapion gets a good start at number 10. At number 9, however, is a whole different story. Miltank has been involved in a lot of para-haxxing. I've done Miltank in a battle where I've para-haxed an entire team. All 6 Pokemon were paralyzed. And even funnier, I've actually had it where Miltank defeated a Heatran. How funny is that? Because nobody knows Miltank's moveset. It's so huge. And I have different ways of Miltank. I just got a shiny one on my black too, so it's going to be a fun Pokemon to play once it gets to level 100. Miltank was also one of the first normal types that I started playing with. Well, speaking of normal types, let's go to number 8, which happens to be a good old Cinccino. And the reason why Cinccino is now one of my top favorites is because of what's been doing when I first played it. When I first played Cinccino, it was with Skill Link and 3 good moves: Bullet Seed, Tail Slap, and Rock Blast. In the Tree Hollow, it went from level 50 to level 100 in about 79 battles. And I was really happy. So, and then it also did 2 6-0 sweeps in battle. In the Wi-Fi battle. I was pretty happy at this Cinccino. So now Cinccino is going to be one of my favorites. Zangoose, which is another normal type, is number 7. And Zangoose goes back a long history. I mean, back when Diamond and Pearl just started. Zangoose was actually my starter Pokemon because I traded a Chinchar for Zangoose. And the Zangoose came with Ice Punch and Aerial Ace and Tackle. I put Sword Stance on it, and then shifted Secret Power for that Tackle, and Zangoose was a monster through the entire game. It was so great that I actually got it to level 100 before the 6th gym badge. The 6th! You only need 600,000 points for Zangoose to get to level 100. And the Versus Seeker was a pretty good item back then. Now, Zangoose was more of a helper in my Pokemon days than the battler. It has some battles, it does okay, but most of the time Zangoose is the one that helps my Pokemon to get the higher level. So I like playing with him. He's also my False Swiper, which he can catch legends, even catching a Dialga and catching it in a Great Ball after 1 turn. So Zangoose is one of my favorite normal types. At number 6 is Xatu, and I want to say Xatu is definitely one of my favorites. Another one of my favorite types I like playing is Flying, and this one, this Psychic Flying, is very, very special, only because of the fact of how much I've played it in Diamond and Pearl. But then it got even better when I get to Black and White 1 and 2, especially with Magic Bounce. It tells Darkrai to go shove your Dark Void to yourself. Xatu's been involved in almost sweeps. I've got 4-0s and 3-0s with Xatu, so Xatu is a pretty good Pokemon to play with, and I love playing with. But when it comes down to Simisear at number 5, you just look at his face and you can tell he's ready to sweep. And I've done that before with Simisear. Simisear was the first monkey that I played with when Black and White came out. And ever since then, when I start putting Hidden Power Ice and Focus Blast and Flamethrower on that thing, it just went through the entire team like nothing. It told Tyranitar to take this Focus Blast and go to the depths of the abyss. I love Simisear. I love Simisear for that. Now, Manectric is at number 4. Not much for battles, but because of me and my thing about Manectric. I don't know. I've been playing Manectric for a pretty long time. Matter of fact, Manectric was a staple in my 4th gen games. Well, that was until Electivire came in with a certain extra move. But before I started playing with Electivire, there was Manectric. And Manectric used to come in and defeat Scizors and I believe Fortresses with that good old flamethrower. Something that nobody usually would ever expect on a Manectric until now. So, and then Manectric was also one of my favorites. We used to come in and defeat those pesky Gyarados. So, Manectric was one of my favorites back then. But when it comes to Pokemon that I like, the next 3 are going to be great. And we're going to start with this Scrafty here at number 3. Scrafty, also known to many people as Henry Ruff when I play it, was the person who would come in and just destroy legends like they were nothing. I don't care if you're Darkrai or Mewtwo or Arceus, or even Ferrothorn for that matter. Scrafty looked at you and said, "Let me get ready." You're gonna Dragon Dance and Ice Punch and Hype Jump Kick the opponent's team all the way down to the depths of the abyss. And Scrafty's done that many times before. I've had I think 4 6-0 sweeps with him. 4. And even funnier, Scrafty was also one of my helpers as well when it comes down to training Pokemon. He was, I think, one of my first few level 100 Pokemon in Black and White. But when it comes down to fun, there's Togekiss. And Togekiss, you would think at number 2 should be number 1, but there's a better number 1 and you'll see why. But when it comes down to Togekiss, there are a few things. First, Togekiss is, I believe, my first level 100 Pokemon when I played Black and White. It was one of my first of the 2 or 3 level 100s that I had when I first played Platinum and Heart Gold Soul Silver. Matter of fact, it was one of my favorites that I always put him in one of my teams in either 4th gen or 5th gen. And there's a reason why. Paraflishing is a very big thing when it comes down to Togekiss. And even funnier, Flamethrower is another good move because I've burned Dragonites and Tyranitars with Flamethrower. And you would think that it would not be a good move to use when it comes down to Togekiss, but it is. I love Paraflishing, I love flying types, and Togekiss looks like that happy type that made you think that it was all easy to beat, but in a true sense, Nancy Plot and Air Slash are team killers. And when Flamethrower burns you, you'll be looking like, great. Togekiss is one of my staples when it comes down to battling. But you would wonder, if Togekiss is number 2, then who's number 1? Well, let's get you all to a little bit electric squirrel named Pachirisu. And I gotta tell you, when I first looked at Pachirisu, I thought that this was gonna be the worst thing ever. And I think a lot of people thought the same thing. I am going to disagree with myself and a lot of other people who thought that Pachirisu was nothing much than just another Pokemon. And I'll tell you why. First of all, this thing is almost as a speed wall as you can with someone named Uxie. And even then, you got a Charmer and possibly a Captivator who can pretty much stall your way into frustration. And Pachirisu can be annoying. It's done that a number of times before. I've done that because of Thunder Wave and Attract. And the reason why I use that is because a lot of people would love to use something like Earthquake. I would charm that thing before it even gets off. And then people would wonder, how the world did that Pachirisu survive? I could charm with Pachirisu to -6. And then I could Super Fang you till you go down. And then Pachirisu can use U-turn, and then I can just bulk up to win the rest of the game. Pachirisu is that annoying. That smile on that face of Pachirisu means nothing when it comes to battle, because that smile is a charming smile where it can get you to -6 attack and paralyzed, and probably down to like 3 HP left. Yeah, don't use extreme speed, because extreme speed will only take Pachirisu down 4 HP. Earthquake? Yeah, it'll probably get Pachirisu down to maybe 60%. So Pachirisu can be an annoyer and a wall if you play it white. And in some cases, Pachirisu can pretty much wall an entire team. With that electric squirrel is my #1 favorite Pokemon, which is probably a surprise to a lot of people. Rate, comment, subscribe, give it a like if you like it. This is the Pokemon Man Skyfire. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and see you next time.